Everybody, daily recap, March 10th, 2022. Let's talk about what we did today, what worked, what didn't work, all that good stuff. So we came into the market today. I was leaning bullish, if you guys saw on Twitter. I was looking for basically if the pivot held up for us to continue to go higher. Now, market did pull back to the pivot this morning, which wasn't surprising, and then it did hold up. Afternoon, basically what we did is we grabbed calls and we played the market to the upside into that 426 level, which worked out fantastic. We also did some Tesla long at the exact same time, grabbed it at 814s, and then we traded into the 838 level. And yeah, no, it was a really good trade on that. So it was about a 24-point trade on Tesla, and then we got over 100% on the SPY. Now, when we started out the gate this morning, we did a couple things. I wasn't really convinced on the short side. I was more so focused on low float stocks today. We did try a little bit of Tesla long, which didn't work out the gate. We tried some Asan long, which worked out nicely. We got a nice squeeze off of those earnings from the 37 level into the 40s, 39s. So that was a good little trade there. We tried some, we did a bunch of oil stuff along in this morning. USEG, we grabbed long at 789. We scalped it into that 830 level, moved stops pretty quick. We did the same thing with MARPS, where we grabbed it long at 15. 1584. We scalped that into the 16 level, moved stops, got stopped out the rest at entries, got about 70 cents on that. We did the HUSA at 970. That one didn't work. We ended up getting stopped out of that one. GBR, we had at 393, and we scalped that into the 455 level, which worked out nicely. And then lastly, we tried some 9 this morning on the oil side at the $5 level. We ended up just getting stopped out of that one pretty quick. We had tight stops on that. Airbnb, we took long as well on the equity side. Got a couple points on that in the morning. Got stopped out the rest, and obviously got that move intraday. Other low floats that we did Wave long this morning at 656. Got a nice point on that. I also did alert that one on Twitter. Seed, we took long at $9. Played it all the way to 12. I guided that one up on Twitter as well. So if you don't follow me, I do give out a lot of free trades, and the hit rate's actually really good on Twitter if you go back and look. CYRN, we took a little bit at 789 this morning, played it to the 839, ended up getting stopped out of the rest of that one after the pullback. It was a good trade, but stopped out at the entries on the rest. Yaten, this was an agricultural low float name that we played from 514 into the 605 level. Also, we had a high conviction trade on that. It was great. AGRI, we took this at 308 based off the relative volume, played that into fives. Another low float name, really nice trade. 66% on that. You can see all the the different types of low floats that we did trade today. We tried some Nvidia short. We ended up taking this off pretty much flat. 221. We took it off at around 220 like 60. It was a small trade. Roku, we played this for about 80 cents to the downside from 108.47. We covered into those 107s. And then basically we did some in the afternoon ARQT long. We ended up getting it at 1730, selling around the 1770 level. We took some IMTE long as well, around 920s. We sold most of it at 970s, and then ended up just exiting the rest at the end of the day there. LITM will like this trade a lot, high conviction. 640, we were in, grabbed it. When we're actually holding 3/4 of it overnight, looking for continuation higher, but we got a nice point on that to the upside as well. So overall, and Indo, that was another one that we took long. I also tweeted this one out, but basically it was holding the lows all day today. Figured that because it was holding that low, downtrend was breaking. EMA support's likely to reclaim and we push. Got a couple points on that to the upside. We grabbed it long at 38.70, and we got it, out of it at the 40.60 pop there. Ended up just exiting the rest of that. A couple other trades that we did just lastly. AQB, we took long at 175, just swinging that. That was a nice one. And HYMC, we played this for about 15 cents to the upside. Oh, it's still going. Nice. Okay, yeah, we grabbed that at 124. We played it into the 140s, and then exited the rest of that before the end of the day. Good little trade there. So all in all, on the equity side, really good. A lot of low float stocks. I love low floats when they run. I typically have a decent feel for them. I think you can kind of tell if you do follow me, but if not, maybe that review will help you. But overall, one of my favorite things to trade. On the equity side or option side, we tried some crowd out the gate, the 210 calls. We ended up getting stopped out of those. We had CVX 175s. Those worked out nicely. We ended up getting over 100% on that. We tried some RTX. We ended up getting out of those flat. We had CAT 220 lotto calls on. We got a couple 100% on those 220s, almost 300%. I think it may have been 300%. I'll have to go back and look, but we grabbed the 220s right out the gate, 45 cents, and it actually had a pretty decent rip. RCL, we had the 72 calls right out the gate, played those for I think it was about an 80-cent move to the upside. We had some BA as well, 182.50 calls. Those worked out really well. Almost got those in the money. We had those at 94 cents. About 100% trade on that. We had some Facebook, which didn't end up working. We had the 200 calls. Those didn't work. We had Netflix calls today, which didn't work. These were both lotto type trades. Netflix was like a 49-cent trade that didn't work. Moss was really good. We had 60 calls, 62s, and 63s. All of them worked really nicely. 63 calls we grabbed at 18 cents, and we got lucky on it. We grabbed it into the 50 MA, and then news came out. Or actually, it was on CNBC. They pumped it, and those went to like $1, so about 300% and change. CF, we had this one swung overnight, the 95 calls, and we ended up getting a nice 311% on that overnight. I think on Moss, the 63s, we got about 400 or 500%, by the way. I'll have to go back and look again. Just going off the top of my head here as I just kind of go through all the trades. 456% on the 95 calls on CF. We tried to roll on Oxy. That didn't end up working, but it was a roll, so there was no risk on that. And then we did some XPO, which went up about 60%. The 75 calls, not bad. We had some Walmart on long, which got about 30%. The next week, 145 calls. And then lastly, we tried some Qualcomm puts. We ended up taking those off flat. We had AMD puts. We ended up getting like 20-30% on those. Nothing too major. And on the option side, we did pretty decent. We had Tesla 750 puts. We ended up taking these off for a 3-cent loss. So you can see that the losses that we did take were really controlled. We were just, if something wasn't working, we just ended up exiting it really quickly just to make sure that risk reward was skewed in our favor the entire day. And I honestly didn't trust the downside. I think the market's showing us that how controlled that sell-off was. It looked really good. But overall, good day on both the options and equity side. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I think if this market's all about patience, all about timing. And, realistically, guys, I don't think trading the big cap stocks are the way to go. I think it's easier to trade these commodities, these relative strength, these outlier type names. You tend to get a lot more direction on them. But again, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow's Lotto Friday. Should be a good one in regards to opportunity in the market. SPY, we take a look at that. What do we got going on? Basically, we got the VIX breaking the downtrend on the uptrend on the daily. That's great. Market's trying to break this little downtrend and get back above EMA support. We'll see what happens tomorrow. It's going to be coming into the downtrend. We can either gap above it or we gap down, and we'll have room towards 416s. I don't know where we go. Market's still stuck in a pretty tight wedge. You'll see it right here. There's that wedge. So downtrend is still intact. Uptrend's intact off the lows. EMA resistance is all the way. You have all of them to the upside at the moment. So big levels to break through. Anyways, we do stream, guys, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. every single day. Live guidance, entries, exits in the chat. And we also do have a swing chat as well, which we've been doing quite well on because we've been playing oil, commodities, things like that. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, spartantrading.com. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.